Hi again. I apologize for my videos being so short. I was dealing with a really messed up cell phone. Um, I got my computer working now, so I'm gonna use this now. My videos will be longer, but I'm gonna go ahead and kind of finish what I was doing and explain the poem that I wrote. And this one was called Atoms, and this was towards the very beginning of being in the remote neuron programming or monitoring slash programming program. And I just like to make sure I let everybody know that there was no consent. I didn't ask to be in the program. This was done all behind my back, and it's been going on for quite a while now. And they started to communicate with me, and this is why I'm telling everybody, is because now they're trying to seduce me into doing what they want, and this is where bad people come from. They trigger you with trigger words, and we're going to talk about that later, and how to recognize them. And they create bad people, like school shooters, um, people that straight murder, or bad people. This is who they get to do their dirty work. And the people on the lists are the criminal minds, or, the drug addicts or whatever. And, it's not about the drug addicts, So, um, I'm going a little off subject here. They've been messing with me all day today. So, let me, uh, let me just continue. All right. Excuse me. Sorry. Life. What's life? Well, what is life? Is there really a meaning? Do we really supposed to work a 9 to 5 every day? Like, is this what life is? I personally think it's for experience. We're just supposed to experience life. And we're supposed to just not stay in a rut every day, and do something new. Learning is the key. That's the key to success either way. And so, again, let's move on. An accumulation of atoms. That's all we are. We're just an accumulation of atoms. If you look at us small or large, we're see-through it at the small scale because our atoms don't actually touch. And when you look at a large scale, well, you can't even see us. We're part of something else. We're part of a planet. You can't see individual people when you look at a galactical level. You know. So next slide. Manipulation of, or a manipulation I can't fathom, and so that means our minds don't have the capacity of explaining any of this. We're here on Earth, and we're only so big on the spectrum, and we can't think or see even smaller than a photon. But we can't see any bigger than the visible space. The I can't remember what it's called, but it's visible. All we can see is just a very small spectrum of everything. Is life tandem? Uh, is there other multiverses? Are we even connected to our brain and our consciousness? Blah, 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 sorry, according to our existence, we don't really have any clue. We've been here for a very blip of a second in time, and we don't know if it goes on, if it is repeated. I mean, how do you explain it? Please explain to me if you know, or what your opinion is. Is life random? Did we come here from other animals? From evolving, or were we manipulated in DNA? I mean, there's a gap in the little line of, man. It's hard to speak right now. They're really bothering me right now. But there's a gap in evolution where we become Homo sapien erectus from Homo sapien, and there's no proof anywhere, and they don't. Nobody knows why. We just went from this to this. You know what I mean? To using tools and being slaves, pretty much. And so I'm gonna keep going. And again, I excuse my mind right now. Uh, the next one is, what's being conscious? Like, or actually no, it's, why do I feel abandoned? And why do I feel abandoned? Do you feel abandoned? Like, I have no idea. But that's what I feel like. I feel like life has just kind of left us behind. Almost like we messed up somewhere. Or maybe we weren't supposed to be here in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, how do you explain that? I don't know. Maybe, if you've got a bunch of money or something and you've got a bunch of stuff to do with your time, and you have no time to think about, yourself and your existence and how you live your life, maybe you don't feel abandoned. Maybe because you're so full of, you know, other things to occupy your mind that you don't even think about that. And that's exactly what the Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all that kind of stuff does. It fills that gap. And, nobody really thinks about that anymore. I don't have a Facebook. I know earlier I said, this is all the time that Facebook would allow me. Oh, well, I meant to say YouTube. It wasn't Facebook. I don't have a Facebook. I don't do that social media stuff. And the only reason I'm on here doing this is to open other people's eyes and possibly find other people like me. I don't have friends. I don't hang out with anybody. I have my family and that's it. And other than that, like, I'm here. I'm writing. I'm listening to these people that are in the RNM project or organization that are literally using brain to brain technology to see through our eyes, and then they trigger your subconscious, to make decisions. And for all I know, they could be selling us, you know what I mean, for people like Rothschilds or Illuminati types to kind of stuff. And again, I'm a complete conspiracy theorist. It's interesting, it's stuff that hasn't been proven yet. And I'd like to be one of those people, whistleblower, that kind of lets everybody know what really goes on, because I have experienced more than most when it comes to this program, and apparently to them, I am one of the smartest ones in the program, and so they tried to confide in me and let me know what's going on, and I have, when you dream, they watch, and they put you through simulation type things in your brain. And I have names of simulations like Schmitty Tickles. If anybody has ever heard the words Schmitty Tickles, please comment. Please. If you've ever been through a simulation in your dream to where you're strapped up like this and you're being pushed down a conveyor belt type situation, and it may be different for you because your brain might be thinking in some other way, but you're being tickled in your armpits. And the name of the game is, do not laugh. Control yourself. And if anybody's ever been through this, please let me know. I'm going off subject here, but what's being conscious? To me, that's just living. What is it? Like, do you know what the purpose is being here? I mean, besides obviously being controlled, But what kind of life is that? I mean, do we live in a zoo? I mean, come on. I'm rotting inside, and that's where the whole we were created type thing happens. That's where the emptiness comes from. Uh, that's where you feel like, like, why am I here? What's my purpose? And that's why nobody has an explanation for, what the purpose is of life. Because everybody comes up with their own explanation. Do I even want this? Definitely not. Definitely not. I never asked. This is no consent whatsoever. I did not ask to be in the program. I did not ask anything. I am a regular human being, and apparently I have intercepted the transmission to the point where I can hear the shit. And that's rare, apparently. And even the doctors told me that, like, you don't have schizophrenia, dude. Like, there is something else going on. Almost like look at me like, are you even human? You know what I mean? Like, quantum theory, quantum biotheory, quantum mechanics. What kind of schizophrenia fucking talks about that shit? Tell me that. Seriously. Uh, I've done everything I could, and that's the truth. I've done everything. That's why I'm here now. This is my last straw, and this is telling you guys, and this is telling the world. And so here I am, putting myself out there, and one of the lines in one of my other poems is, I wouldn't doubt if I come up missing. Because this is the type of information that makes people come up missing. And for all we know, this may be the only video you see of me. For all, I mean, who knows? I may be picked up tomorrow. I have no idea. That's not up to me. Now I'm considered insane. Yeah, I am. I mean, to all my friends, well, I don't have friends, but ultimately all my family and stuff, and the stuff I talk about, yeah. Yeah, I'm considered insane to everybody around me, but obviously I'm not. It's not like I'm sitting here going, oh yeah, no, don't say that, don't say this, don't say that. No, I can still live my life, but I'm so good at the mental game that they bother me, but I'm still able to still hold conversations and work a job and, live my life and pay my bills and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to give too much information about my personal life, but uh, I'm still able to maintain. But people still think I'm insane by the things I talk about. Like, it's like I'm always talking about, like, do you ever hear this or that? Have you ever tested? Have you ever tested your thoughts? Have you ever said something real fast and then changed it at the last second and then listened? And then when you do that, do you feel like you want to say something else? Or do you get the urge to do something that you don't normally do? I mean, I'm going to be going through a lot of different concepts, and all I ask is just kind of sit back and listen. Like, I'm probably going to make a fool of myself, but that's okay. It's not like I have friends to make fun of me for it. So, uh, voices in my brain didn't explain. Shame is all they bring, like a broken wing. So, I mean, just like it says, all they do is beat you down. And if you've never done shadow work, and if you have stuff to hide in your own brain that you would never tell anybody, get that shit out. Because they're going to beat you down with it. That's what they're going to pick on you about. If you've ever done anything, or if you're ashamed of anything, or if you doubt yourself, oh man, you are a full target. And they will get and it's all about high vibration, you know. So stay positive, stay happy. New way of thinking. Brain shrinking, my pineal gland. So I had to figure out a new way of thinking. which means I had to kill all my belief systems. You know, like everything I believed in, boom, dead. I had to start over. You know, I had to build a whole new house. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like getting over addiction. You know, you have to build a whole new house. You can't just, you can't build a house off of a foundation with holes. You know, it's not going to stay up. It's not stable. You need a stable foundation before you can build. You know, I mean, that's a general concept. So, brain shrinking pineal gland. Uh, Brain shrinking, like, they're going to make you feel that little. You know, like you have no control. Like your brain is tiny. Like you're retarded. Or excuse me, I shouldn't say that. Like you're not intelligent. You know what I mean? Like everybody has their intelligence. You know, in certain areas. And my pineal gland. I mean, not just the pineal gland. Do you know what that is? I mean, it makes you an individual. You know, that's where you get your self qualities from. And a lot of people say that we don't use it, but we do. We do. They're just trying to shrink it. They're just trying to make it to where we are controllable. You know, and that's where aspartame comes in, asuflame. You know, chloride and fluoride in our water. I mean, it's to the point where they're literally shrinking it so we're easily controlled. So we don't have that voice to stand up and go, no, I don't like that. It's more like, okay, I'll do what you say. You know, like, that's pretty much what it does. I don't know where or even how to stand. You know, at this point in time, when I wrote this, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I honestly didn't. I was hearing stuff like it was weird. I'm a welder, right? And I was at work, and I was throwing some pretty good welds, right? And to me, I was telling myself, "Oh, I could do better. I could do better." But to them, they were saying, "Wow, look at that penetration. That penetration is great. Man, he's a good welder. We're gonna need him." And I'm just like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like looking around, like waiting for somebody to come out and say, you know, what they were saying, but there was nobody around. And I'm like, I'm not thinking this. I'm thinking this weld was shit, you know, but they're saying that I had great penetration. Like, how the fuck do you know if I have good penetration or not? Do you have an x-ray machine? Like, can you x-ray my welds? Like, where is this coming from? Like, this isn't in my head. This was foreign. This is coming from somewhere else. And I'm going to get way deeper into that here in a bit. Uh, Demands. All they do, that's pretty much all they do, is they try to, you know how your brain works. You have your surface mind, then you have your limbotics, which controls your urges and your decision making, and then you have your reptilian, which controls your involuntary processes. And they're trying to control your limbotics and your reptilian. So, which means, you know, when you go to, say, a glass of water, right? You're thirsty. Do you have a voice in you that says, drink that water? Or that urge that says, man, I need that water? Have you ever said, no, don't drink that water? Have you ever told yourself that and then sat there and listened? That's what they're controlling is your decision making, because there are contracts saying, you know, we need to get so many people to buy this product, or we have so many people that need to be doing this, or segregation, or, you know, civil war, or, you know, voting for a president, or anything like that. You know, they're controlling that shit, and it's to a level that we can't even hear it. It's deep in your mind. You have to focus. You have to visualize. So, next one is fuck you. Period. That's the next line. And that's for them. You know, it's fuck you. And blue is the color of my face. That's one of the things I've always said. Is look at his face. It's blue. I didn't know what the hell that meant. Like, what does that mean? If this was in my head, I would know what these things mean, right? I don't understand what they're saying when they say that. And I'm on I used to be addicted to opiates because I had my leg crushed, and I was on Oxycontin for like a year, and so my body got addicted to it, right? And that wasn't really my choice. It was pain meds that were pharmaceutically and they were prescribed. And when I got off of them, they just cut me off. And so I literally was addicted, and so they put me on a Suboxone program, and so when I take the Suboxone or whatever, it, I've done the research. I can tell you all how it works and everything. But anyways, it reacts just like an opiate, I guess, and it does the same thing as a real opiate. It's just a synthetic, so the pharmaceutical companies can still make money off you and still have control over you. Okay. Apparently, to them, it turns our face blue. I guess. Like that's their words, not mine. Um, True is what they erased. So, or truth, sorry. Uh, yeah. So anything that you know that is true, they're gonna tell you the opposite. They don't want you to know the truth. They'll never throw themselves underneath the bus, ever. So remember that. They'll never tell you the truth, ever. Encased like a nut. That's pretty much where I am. I'm in a nutshell. No friends. Being told that you're sick or whatever, and pretty much you're that nut in that shell that nobody wants. You're that nut that nobody likes. And it's. I'm not looking for any type of sympathy or anything like that, but it's pretty fucking sad. It really is. It's pretty fucking sad, and I wouldn't want anybody to be in my position. And that's why I'm here right now. I'm here to help other people. And that's why I'm doing this. I wouldn't do this just for myself. I mean, yeah, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. And they won't leave me alone. But apparently to them, when you're top of the class, they're not going to let you go. You know. So I've been asking for compensation. And I have pretty good proof of being in this program. And again, if you've never seen it before, it's called Remote Neuron Program or Monitoring, RNM. And it's a way for them to put you on a list if you have a criminal mind or a uh, like an addiction type mind or something like that in those along those lines. They're watching your brain firing, and man, I have so much to say. It's so hard to keep track of, like, or stay on track. Um, Trace like their bots, you know. They're watching through your mind. They're watching through your eyes. It's like they're literally you when they're brain to brain interfacing. It's like right now they're making fun of me because I say interfacing. I call it interfacing, you know. And I mean, maybe I should make a video of just exactly what they're saying when they're saying it, and then my replies, just to show people what they're talking about and how they trigger. Because all they do is trigger. That's the name of their game, is triggering you. Because trigger words cause pictures in your mind if you're a visualizer, or reactions emotionally, and then these emotional triggers will trigger an action, and this action is what they're looking for. They're creating bad people, and all they want to do is put you in the system so they can control you, take all your money, all your, you're not sneaking away. You're in the system at this point. They want to put you in jail. I mean, it's pretty much to the point of, like, when the natural disaster happens, and I'll explain this later. Centrifugal force of the earth will flip, and that's when the pole shift will happen, and that's when the seventh bottleneck will happen, and it's pretty complex, and I'll take a whole video to explain that. Just in case, I fear not. And those are the last words. And that's just to kind of remind everybody and myself that don't be scared. Don't be scared, because the more you fear, the more control they have. Do not fear. Know yourself. Learn yourself. Know how you live. Know your natural instincts. Do not question yourself, but question them. When that feeling comes along where you're like, well, I wanted to do this, but something told me not to. Like right now, I just had deja vu. This was meant to happen. I was meant to do this. And I just hope everybody's listening and not just trying to make fun. I mean, you're going to get them. You're going to get those naysayers. You're going to get those people that say, oh, you're fucking crazy. But that's not the case. And so, I've got about 26 minutes on this video now. I'm going to go ahead and call this video good and upload it, and then I'm gonna do another one right now, just to get as many up there as I can. But each video I'm gonna be doing another poem that I wrote, and I turn them into songs as well. But I'm gonna do each poem and explain each line on what it means, because a lot of people don't understand what I talk about. I could tell you the lines and you'd get the wrong idea, because my mind isn't inside the box, it's on the outside, and so I have to explain what I'm talking about when I write these things, because most people wouldn't get it. They'd get the shallow meaning, and there is no shallow meaning to my words. My words are deep. They cut like a razor. So, thank you for watching. My name is Rickles. I'll see you next video. Thank you. Namaste.